Alright guys, in this video we're going to talk about feeding and watering your guinea pigs. So obviously food and water are important. Your guinea pig's diet should consist of a few different things. They should have an unlimited amount of fresh hay, Timothy hay. I personally prefer the Oxbow brand. It's a little bit more expensive, but it's a softer hay and the pigs seem to enjoy it. I've tried other brands and all they do is rip it out and throw it all over the cage. Other brands tend to be harder. I don't eat hay, so I don't know what the taste difference is, but pigs do. There's a couple different ways you can feed them hay. Some people just put it in a big pile in there. I used to do that, but the pigs tend to just run through it and pee and poop all over it. And you have to change the hay a lot, and the hay just gets everywhere. You end up wasting a lot of hay, so I don't recommend that. A lot of places will sell a trough or like a hay rack that you can clip onto the side of the cage. Those are alright, especially for smaller cages where there's not a lot of room. Personally, I prefer the hay balls, which PetSmart sells. Haven't found them anywhere else. Petco doesn't carry them. But PetSmart has them, and I like these because you can use them in multiple ways. They can either clip onto the side of the cage like that. You can take them off and set them upright in the middle of your cage, and you can even take the ball off like so and let them push the hay around. All of it keeps the hay out of their poop, makes it easy to change and fill. It's a good guesstimator for how much hay they're eating if you know how much of the ball you fill up every day. With 7 pigs, they will eat roughly a ball to a ball and a half of hay a day. That's why I have 3 of them. Another reason the ball is good is it makes them work for the hay. They'll like to stand up and spin the ball, and it gives them mental stimulation, which is good for their well-being. So, hay, important. They're supposed to have an unlimited amount of it. Pigs will feed themselves. It helps their digestion, so don't limit the amount of hay that they can have. The next part of their diet is going to be pellet food. That's basically just all the protein and stuff that they need. I prefer the PetSmart brand. It's the generic. It's pretty cheap. I buy it by the 10-pound bag for about $10, and one of those bags will last me a week and a half to 2 weeks. Each pig is supposed to get a quarter of a cup to a half a cup a day. Since they have so much other stuff in their diet, I tend to do it closer to a quarter. I use a quarter cup measuring cup to scoop it out of the bag. You don't want to overfill them or put too much out, because most of the food, and especially the one I use, have vitamin C built into it, and vitamin C decays once it's out in the sunlight and out of its sealed bag. So you want to keep the food fresh and only put it out as they're eating it. The nice thing about 2 bowls is usually they'll eat one, and one will have all the old food in it, and I'll dump them together and combine them and then just refill a fresh one. I do that twice a day, so I alternate. One bowl's fresh in the morning, the other bowl's fresh at night. Seems to work out. The water, again, with 7 pigs, mine will go through about half of one of these bottles a day. So this is about 4 days worth of water for them. I use filtered tap water. Pigs obviously don't care. One thing I would not recommend doing is putting vitamin C drops in the water. A lot of places will tell you to do that, but again, vitamin C breaks down once it's in sunlight, so it really doesn't do much good if it's sitting in the water bottle, and it makes the water taste funny and your pigs won't like it as much. So stick with vitamin C in other parts of their diet. Just use regular water for that. Make sure your water bottles are always clean, and keep an eye on them. daily. If the spout gets blocked up or something and they can't get to it, that's not a good thing. So another good part about having 2 water bottles is even if one breaks for some reason, they'll still be able to drink. The last part of their diet that we'll come back to later is going to be fresh vegetables. That'll be a whole nother video on what to feed them and how much to feed them. My pigs typically get fresh vegetables 2 to 3 times a day. Tend to rotate depending on what's in season and whatnot. But between those vegetables and their food, they get enough vitamin C that way. And they seem to be pretty healthy. So you want to make sure your pig's food stays fresh. So guinea pig food, very easy. Just use a chip clip, seal the bag back up, keep it airtight so that the food doesn't go bad. The hay, it's a lot easier to fill the hay balls, a lot less messy too, to do it inside of a plastic tub like that. If you try digging it out of the bag, it just goes everywhere. Try doing it over the sink, you end up washing a lot of hay down the sink, clogs your drains, it's a waste of hay. All this stuff I learned out the hard way. So I picked up one of these storage totes. This is actually an archive safe tote, and what that means is it has a rubberized seal around the edges of it that makes it airtight and watertight. Cleaned it out really well, made sure it was dry so we didn't have mold, and then started storing hay in it. So very easy to fill the hay from that, and then when I'm done, just seal it back up. That'll hold about 70 ounces worth of hay, or roughly 2 weeks worth of food for the guinea pigs. So this is a 90-ounce bag. I'll top it off again in a bit.